Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey is the debut studio album by Bruce Springsteen, released in 1973. It only sold about 25,000 copies in the first year of its release, but had significant critical impact. It was ranked at number 379 by Rolling Stone on its list of 500 greatest albums of all time. The album also hit the number 60 spot on the Billboard 200 albums listing. Background: Springsteen and his first manager Mike Apple decided to record the album at the low-priced, out-of-the-way 914 Sound Studios to save as much as possible of the Columbia Records advance and cut most of the songs in a single week. There was a dispute not long after the record was recorded. Apple and John Hammond preferred the solo tracks, while Springsteen preferred the band songs. As such, a compromise was reached. The album was to have 5 songs with the band and 5 solo songs. However, when Columbia Records president Clive Davis heard the album, he felt that it lacked a hit single. As such, Springsteen wrote and recorded Blinded by the Light and Spirit in the Night. Because pianist David Sancious and bassist Gary Torland were unavailable to record these songs, a 3-man band was used. Avni Lopez on drums, Springsteen on guitar, bass, and piano, and the previously missing Clarence Clemons on saxophone. These 2 songs bumped Jazz Musician, Arabian Nights, and Visitation at Fort Horn, leaving a total of 7 band songs and 2 solo songs. The album was originally slated to be released in the fall of 1972, but it was moved back to early 1973 to avoid the pre-Christmas crush. Both Blinded by the Light and Spirit in the Night were released as singles by Columbia, but neither made a dent in the U.S. charts. Manfred Mann's Earth Band released a version of Blinded by the Light on their album The Roaring Silence, which reached number 1 on Billboard's Hot 100 on February 19, 1977 and number 1 on the Canadian RPM chart the same day. This recording of Blinded by the Light is Springsteen's only number 1 single as a songwriter on the Hot 100. His best showing on the Hot 100 as a performer was in 1984, with Dancing in the Dark, which peaked at number 2 for 4 weeks. On November 22, 2009, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey was played in its entirety for the first time by Bruce Springsteen and the E Street Band, at the HSBC Arena in Buffalo, New York, to celebrate the last show of the Working on a Dream tour. Critical reception: in a positive review for Rolling Stone, music critic Lester Bangs hailed Springsteen as daring new artist who sets himself apart from his contemporaries with songwriting that either have a serious meaning or showcase his uninhibited gift for verbose, overloaded lyrics and rhyme schemes. Cree magazine's Robert Christgau said Springsteen's songs are dominated by the kind of mannered emotional transparency and absurdist energy that made Bob Dylan a genius instead of a talent. In a 1981 review, he wrote that despite the grandiloquent, unaccompanied Mary Queen of Arkansas, and The Angel, songs such as Blinded by the Light, and Growin' Up foreshadow Springsteen's unguarded teen underclass poetry, while even The Maundering Lost in the Flood is interesting. In AllMusic Guide to Rock, William Ullman gave Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey 5 stars and said that it combined the mid-1960s folk rock music of Bob Dylan, accessible melodies, and elaborate arrangements and lyrics. Asbury Park painted a portrait of teenagers cocksure of themselves, yet bowled over by their discovery of the world. It was saved from pretentiousness by its sense of humor and by the careful eye for detail that kept even the most high-flown language rooted. In 2003, the album was ranked number 379 on Rolling Stone's list of the 500 greatest albums of all time. They ranked it 37th on their list of greatest debut albums. Track listing: all songs written by Bruce Springsteen. Unreleased outtakes: as with every album to follow, Springsteen recorded more songs than he could fit onto the album. Many of the outtakes have been released throughout the years on various bootlegs, however never have been given an official release. Most are in a raw, demo form featuring just Springsteen and were not fully completed. Demos such as Mary Queen of Arkansas, Growin' Up, Does This Bus Stop at 82nd Street, and It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City were released on the track's box set. Arabian Nights, Visitation at Fort Horn, Jazz Musician, Lady and the Doctor, Cowboys of the Sea, Two Hearts in True Waltz Time, Street Queen, The Chosen. Personnel. The E Street Band = Clarence Clemens Euro saxophone, backing vocals, hand claps, Vni Mad Dog Lopez Euro drums, backing vocals, hand claps, David Sanchez Euro piano, organ, keyboards, Bruce Springsteen Euro lead vocals, acoustic guitar, electric guitar, harmonica, bass guitar, piano, keyboards, hand claps, Gary Torland Euro bass guitar. Additional musicians Richard Davis Euro upright double bass on The Angel, Harold Wheeler Euro piano on Blinded by the Light, and Spirit in the Night, Steven Van Zandt Euro sound effects on Lost in the Flood. Production Louis LaHave Euro engineer, Jack Ashkenazi Euro remixing, John Berg Euro cover design, Fred Lombardi Euro back cover design. Song by song musician credits 1. Blinded by the Light, Springsteen Euro guitar, electric bass, keyboards, vocals, Clemens Euro saxophone, backing vocals, Lopez Euro drums, backing vocals, Wheeler Euro piano. 2. Growing Up, Springsteen Euro guitar, vocals, Lopez Euro drums, Sanchez Euro piano, keyboards, Torland Euro electric bass. 3. Mary Queen of Arkansas, Springsteen Euro guitar, harmonica, vocals. 4. Does This Bus Stop at 82nd Street? Springsteen Euro guitar, vocals, Lopez Euro drums, Sanchez Euro piano, Torland Euro electric bass. 5. Lost in the Flood, Springsteen Euro vocals, Lopez Euro drums, Sanchez Euro piano, organ, Torland Euro electric bass, Van Zandt Euro sound effects. 6. The Angel, Springsteen vocals, Davies Euro double bass, Sanchez Euro piano. 7. For You, Springsteen Euro guitar, vocals, Lopez Euro drums, Sanchez Euro piano, keyboards, Torland Euro electric bass. 8. Spirit in the Night, Springsteen Euro piano, electric bass, clapping, vocals, Clemens Euro saxophone, clapping, backing vocals, Lopez Euro drums, clapping, backing vocals. 9. It's Hard to Be a Saint in the City, Springsteen Euro guitar, vocals, Lopez Euro drums, Sanchez Euro piano, Torland Euro electric bass. See also 1973 in music, Asbury Park, New Jersey, Greetings from Cairo, Illinois. A 2005 album from Stace England about Cairo, Illinois with a cover mimicking Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. References. External links, album lyrics and audio samples, Greetings from Asbury Park, New Jersey. At MySpace, the Asbury Park Boardwalk, New Jersey, past and present.